Hey there everybody, it's Raven Azrael and welcome to my Persona channel. Now recently I've received many requests on different types of videos and discussions, but I haven't been able to research them in depth, and therefore I'm not prepared to create a video on one of those requests yet, but I will do this one because it's relatively simple and it's really more about my personal opinion. Let's get started then on my top 10 favorite personas. Number 10 spot for my top 10 favorite personas has to go to GURR. And the reason for this is because GURR was really cool and was one of the first few personas that I fused when I was playing Persona 3, and it looks really cool, the whole purple wings concept, skeleton bird thing. It weirdly appealed to me and therefore narrowly got onto my number 10 spot. Number 9 has to go to RAKSHASA. And the reason for that is because RAKSHASA, when I first used him in Persona 4, was very helpful to me, and it was one of my most reliable physical personas when I was playing Persona 4 for the very first time. And because of that, it made onto my number 9. My 8th spot has to go to SUKUNA-HIKONA. Now, you guys probably don't know this, but one of my favorite characters is Naoto Shirogane, and her first persona is Sukuna-Hikona. And the reason why I love this persona is because it's been designed so carefully, so detailed, and it suited Naoto's personality to the T. I mean, all the personas based on the characters did carry characteristics of the character, but none more so than Sukuna-Hikona. And besides, Naoto Shirogane, as soon as she came into the party, soon became a member of my main party because of how amazingly powerful she is and how versatile she was. I mean, she had Agidyne, Karudyne, there was another one she had Mamudun, Hamaun, and that was brilliant, and she was just this all-rounder, which suited her, because she was that kind of person. She was a perfectionist, and which is also well designed, and that is why Sukuna-Hikona had to make my number 7 has to go to MASAKADO, and the reason for this is because when I was on I had a quest on Persona 4 to complete the Persona Compendium. This was during the PlayStation 2 time. This was during when I was trying to complete the trophies list, and so I was trying to fuse all the personas, and I saw Masakado, and I was thinking to myself, I never fused him before, and therefore I shall do it for the sake of completing the Persona Compendium. And I didn't expect to be so charmed by it, because Masakado had this whole warrior thing going on when I fused him, and I was so impressed with his design. He had this face paint thing, he had a very tribal warrior thing going on, he held the sword in his hand, and he just looked really cool, which is why he had to make number 7, and it was just brilliant. When I fused him, I got so excited because he looked really cool, and I had to use him to fuse someone else. I think it was Yoshitsune, and I felt really bad fusing him away, and so I bought him back from the compendium just so I could, have him in my Persona deck. Number 6 goes to SRAOSHA. Now the reason for this is because SRAOSHA, also like a lot of the personas I put on the list, looked really cool. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, the final persona for the Justice Arcana in Persona 4, and it was I felt it really carried that expression, the expression of justice, and the colors used were very nice. The whole light blue thing, a bit of red there. I really enjoyed the design of SRAOSHA. I will admit, I never really used SRAOSHA in battle, but it made my number 6 spot because it looked pretty darn cool. Now you guys may be surprised or not so surprised at my choice for number 5, and the reason behind my number 5 spot will be made clear. So for my number 5, I've chosen Magatsu Izanagi. And the reason why I chose Magatsu Izanagi to be my number 5 spot was, one, I'm a great fan of Adachi, and I think Adachi is one of the most well-written characters in the Persona series. I mean, his social link was just perfect. And his persona, equally cool. I always thought his persona looked cool back when Persona 4 was shown on PlayStation 2 and I had to go up against it. And I kind of felt like, you know, I would really like to summon that persona one day. And my dream came true. I could summon it now, thanks to Persona 4 Golden and the new Justice social link. And that is why it had to make my number 5 spot. I mean, it looks so badass, and it just completely expresses what Magatsu Inaba is all about, how confused and dark Adachi's mind really is, his very sinister behavior and personality. It just encompasses all that, and it was well designed to that end. And let's be honest, it looks pretty badass, and his moveset, and if you fuse it with the best moveset, he's just gonna be unstoppable. And you might be surprised with my number 4 spot, as the one who takes my top 4 is Kaguya. And the reason is because, as you guys know from the Addressing the Hate video, I really like Marie as a character, and I think Kaguya really covers Marie, and it also really expresses the Aeon social link really well, and I really like Kaguya's design. I mean, look at it. She looks very elegant. The colors used, the colors are very vivid, and they're all well designed. And not to mention, the reason that really drew me to Kaguya was the Persona Compendium lore. You know, when you press L1, I think, and you can read the lore, and it really captured me, and especially the title, Kaguya the Moonlight Visitor. That really captured my attention, and definitely because of her incredible design, and she was a great help to me during battle. I think she was one of the top 4 personas I used during battle, and she was brilliant in battle, and her incredible design, her efficiency in battle, as well as her amazing lore. Definitely, she deserves to be in the top 4 spot. Number 3 has to go to Thanatos. Thanatos is designed so well. He's such a badass. I mean, everyone in the Persona fandom knew he was a badass the minute he appeared out of Makoto's psyche and rip apart that shadow that was attacking him and Yukari, and that was probably very memorable. I think the fact that that scene was so memorable and had such an impact also caused Thanatos to be very popular. I mean, it was just amazing. It was just amazingly strong, and on top of that, it really it was designed for it. I mean, if you think about it, Thanatos is the final persona for the Death Arcana, and for you to fuse it, you have to fuse a bunch of death personas, and it truly carried that aura of death really well, and especially since the theme of death ran very much in the Persona 3 storyline, and the design all helped toward that. The coffins on its back, the mask that it had, the sword. It was, not only was it designed so well and so badass, it really carried out that whole death theme that was running through the Persona 3 storyline. I really wanted it. I really wanted to fuse it, and it was one. I definitely fused Thanatos in my first playthrough because of how cool he looked. But yeah, and also his battle skills were really good as well. He had Mamudun, and he also had Megidolaon, I think you pronounce it, and it was just so good. And I remember I got a pretty good moveset on mine. I don't remember exactly what I had, but it was a pretty darn good moveset, and he was so strong, and he was so badass, and that's why he had to be in my number 3 spot. Yes, the reason why we have suddenly gone straight to number 1 can only mean one thing, and that is 2 personas have drawn to get the number 1 spot. And that is and those 2 personas are Yoshitsune and Masaya. Now, the reason why I chose Yoshitsune was because I didn't fuse him in my first playthrough of Persona 4, but when I was playing Persona 4 for the PlayStation 2, I went up against Margaret, and she used Yoshitsune against me and took off like half my HP. Hated her for that, but yeah, but Yoshitsune's attack, Hasutobi, actually caught my eye. And I was thinking to myself, you know, in my next playthrough, I think I need to fuse that guy. I need to fuse Yoshitsune, and that's exactly what I did. In my second playthrough, I fused Yoshitsune, and I love him. His design is great. I mean, he's got that whole scar on his eye, and and if you looked at my list of top 10 favorite personas, you notice that a lot of my favorite personas had this same theme going through it, which is a cool warrior-like look, and that's one of the major factors of why I love Yoshitsune. But secondly, because of his effectiveness in battle, he's so strong. Hasutobi's a beast, okay, and I remember that was how I leveled up in my second playthrough of Persona 4 Golden. I just called back Yoshitsune from the compendium, and I used Hasutobi on the Golden Hands, because that was so effective and a great way to level up, and whew, it just felt so good to have so much power, and that is why I love him so much. And he definitely, for his power and for his cool design, he had to get number 1. Now, the reason why Masaya is tied to Yoshitsune is because it's very different. Because, I mean, I've said earlier that Yoshitsune had a very effectiveness in battle. It was very effective and it looked really cool. For Masaya, however, the reason why it had to be in number 1 was because it incited such an emotional response for me. If you think about it, Masaya was used as foreshadowing to Makoto Yuki's fate. If you think about it, I mean, if you looked at the persona's design, I mean, first you have the head, which is looks exactly like Orpheus, so it's is a representation of his first persona. Then you see the coffins it had. Which represent Thanatos, death, who was asleep and who was slumbering in Makoto Yuki. Is also illustrated because that's also a part of him, and personas are who you are. And also there was this he had this big pole he was stuck to, and I believe that foreshadows him becoming the Great Seal, sacrificing his life for his friends, for the world, to become the Great Seal and stop humanity from calling out to Nyx. And it incited such an emotional response for me because it was such foreshadowing, and the ending of Persona 3 really, I didn't think it would ever happen. I didn't think, you wouldn't think the protagonist would die, but that's exactly what happened. He sacrificed himself, and it just incited such a powerful response for me. And seeing Masaya, even the name Messiah foreshadows what was going to happen to him, because it's a biblical allusion to when Jesus sacrificed himself for the world. I mean, really, really good use of foreshadowing by the Persona team, by Atlas. Well done. And and its look on its face, just that it looked very sad but hopeful, and it definitely elicited a emotional response for me, and it had to get number 1 because it meant a lot to me. Well, that is it, guys. Those are my top 10 favorite personas. Now, I know this is just my personal take on my favorite personas, so you guys are welcome to please comment down below your top 10 favorite personas and let me know why you like them. And I've also received a lot of video requests, and some of them are these really juicy topics that I would love to get into the nitty-gritty of, but I don't have the time right now. I've got a lot of things that I need to do first, and I'm going to tell you a few of the titles that I've got that I'm definitely going to respond to very soon, which is Addressing the Hate for Yukari Takeba, which I've mentioned in the Addressing the Hate for Marie. I also got Addressing the Hate for Junpei Iori, which is a bit weird, I didn't think, but it's still worth looking into. And also I received another request to do a discussion on Naoto's sexuality. Pretty interesting, pretty juicy stuff to look into, and I'm really excited, and I assure you they will be up soon once I do my research and my homework, and I'll come to you with a really educated and well thought out discussion. And I've also received a lot of video requests, and some of them are these really juicy topics that I would love to get into the nitty-gritty of, but I don't have the time right now. I've got a lot of things that I need to do first, and I'm going to tell you a few of the titles that I've got that I'm definitely going to respond to very soon, which is Addressing the Hate for Yukari Takeba, which I've mentioned in the Addressing the Hate for Marie. I also got Addressing the Hate for Junpei Iori, which is a bit weird, I didn't think, but it's still worth looking into. And also I received another request to do a discussion on Naoto's sexuality. Pretty interesting, pretty juicy stuff to look into, and I'm really excited, and I assure you they will be up soon once I do my research and my homework, and I'll come to you with a really educated and well thought out discussion. That's it, guys. Please comment down below what you think. If you guys want to get requests to me, please use the social media I list down there. Do let me know on what you'd like to see in the future, and do comment it down below if it's more convenient, and I would definitely try to work towards getting that video out there. Thanks again, you guys, so much for watching this video. Do like, comment, subscribe, and just keep it locked on my Persona channel, and I'll show you a lot more Persona content will be out here. Thank you guys so very much for watching this, and I hope you have a brilliant day.